Some people die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. What I've just learnt has single-handedly changed the trajectory of my life, and I hope that it does the same for you. If life has felt a little off for you right now, if it feels like you've been existing instead of living, it might be because you've forgotten your personal legend. Your personal legend is your soul's purpose. I've just finished reading The Alchemist, and if you're into spirituality, manifesting, and you haven't read this book yet, please read it. This book is filled to the brim with golden nuggets. I first read it at 15. I was way too young back then and I didn't really get anything out of it. But now that I'm 20 and I've reread this again, it has completely shifted my perspective on life. And when your perspective shifts, that's when reality shifts. I'll give you a quick summary in case you haven't read it, but I highly recommend that you do. So the story follows a boy, Santiago, who lives in Spain, but he keeps getting these omens. There is treasure, but it's in Egypt. So he goes on this whole journey by foot to get there, and he meets a bunch of people on the way, and they all have their own philosophies and things that he learns from, as well as traveling through the desert, and he learned language of the world, language of the souls, which is basically just the laws of the universe. The book itself, it doesn't explicitly state any religions, but its spiritual influences are very clear. So your personal legend is your soul's purpose, as we've already established. So what exactly is this? Well, everyone when they're young knows their personal legend. What was the thing you were meant to do before the world started influencing you, before people started telling you what you need to be doing with your time, before people started telling you what you should be doing? What is that inner calling that you have? Think back to your childhood. What made that flame in your soul light up? What did you like doing for fun? As we grow up, we tend to forget our personal legend. We start listening to others. We listen to people when they tell us what you can and can't achieve. We betray ourselves in exchange for stability, in exchange for being accepted, in exchange for fitting in this society. And sometimes we forget our personal legend because all we can focus on is surviving. But there's one great truth. When you truly want something, that desire originates from the soul of the universe. It is your mission on earth, and the universe conspires to help you achieve it. And as said in the book, there's only one thing that makes a dream impossible: the fear of failure. And that's why they mention beginner's luck as well. When something aligns with your personal legend, the universe will give you little nudges that encourage you to keep going. For example, my very first income that I ever made was online money. I started an online business, and after doing all of my research and watching all these YouTubers, oh, by the way, please never pay for a course. We live in the world of the internet. Do not waste your money on free information. Anyways, from what I gathered in my research, it would take me around 2 to 3 months for me to get my first sale. I made my first sale in 10 days. I was in this for the long run. I was not expecting that. I was expecting my first sale to come in 2 or 3 months. But 10 days is all it took. 10 days of inspired, aligned action. I realized something profound. By the way, I was 15 when I did this. I realized that I genuinely enjoyed the process. Every day I worked on my business, even though it didn't give me money yet, but I woke up with this passion inside me and it made me feel fulfilled. When I started showing up and putting in all this output without caring about what I would get in return, that's when I made the real progress, both spiritually and in the 3D. I'm not here to brag about it. I'm here to show you what beginner's luck truly looked like, at least for me. For you, it's going to be something different. Self-trust, self-integrity, self-confidence, these are all laws of the universe. When you are able to cultivate conviction, which is the unshakable belief that something will happen, that something is meant for you, you will unlock your full potential. Let me give you an example of what conviction is. You know that when you flick the light switch, the lights are going to turn on. If someone comes to tell you that, oh, when you flick the switch, the light won't turn on, your immediate reaction will be like, no, it will turn on because that's how the switch works. That is what conviction is. Conviction is having that strong of a belief that when it tries to be disproved, your brain automatically goes, no, that's not the truth. That's not my experience. That is not what I've associated. And you need to be able to cultivate that conviction within yourself, irregardless of the 3D reality, irregardless of the external reality. When you have that conviction from within, that is when your whole life will change. That is when you unlock your full potential. Most people trade their personal legend for security, validation, and even survival. Your ego is trying to sabotage your personal legend. Don't spend 60 years doing something your heart doesn't want. That's something other people, society has pushed you to do. Find your flame and work with it instead. You were not put on this earth to fulfill the desires of other people, to fulfill the desires of this society we live in. You were put on this earth to enjoy, experience, and fulfill your purpose. So you need to ask yourself, how much of my desires are what I truly actually want? Let me give you an example. This is the car that you want. How much do you actually want that car? Be honest. How much do you want that car versus how much do you want other people to see that you have that car? You understand what I'm saying? If you keep living by what you want other people to perceive you as, then you're not really living. You're just putting on a mask and playing on this role. And is this really the kind of life you want to be living? If your fulfillment depends on external validation, what happens when all of that is gone? What happens when you're on your deathbed and you're looking back at all the things you did? How many of them did you do for yourself and how many of them did you do for show? When you live in this reality of continuously chasing the next thing, you are in effect telling your subconscious mind that you do not have it, that you lack. That is why you're chasing. You need to shift your mindset and think from abundance. Be grateful for what you have. If you chase butterflies, they're going to fly away. But if you nurture your garden, you're going to attract all the butterflies. If you make your inner world so abundant, your reality can't do anything except for bend to your inner world. So here's how to remember your personal legend. Step 1, disconnect. Disconnect from all of the external world. Disconnect so that you have the space to spend time with yourself, to spend time with your soul. This is an ear. Step 2 is listen. Follow that inner flame. It is there for a reason. It is not there by accident. And if you think you don't have one, that's all the more reason that you need to disconnect. You need to disconnect and find yourself again. Find yourself the same way that your inner child had when your inner child was pure and didn't go through all of the circumstances you have gone through. When your inner child was just learning and soaking up everything from the world. Step 3. Ask yourself these questions. What would I do if I weren't afraid to fail? Number 2. What would I do if no one else was watching? If there were no external eyes, no people judging you, what would you be doing? Question 3. What would I do if external validation didn't matter? Your personal legend is just truly what you would be doing without all these biases that the world and your experience and memories has given you. Without these biases, who are you and what would you be doing? That is your personal legend. If you're watching this video, then this is your omen. Your personal legend didn't disappear. It just got buried underneath all that noise, underneath all the stories that you have learned throughout your life, underneath all of the things that society and your experiences have tried to tell you. Start now. And even a small step could change your life in ways you could never even imagine. I like you think I'm such an artist.